into the ring, the bell's about to chime. Turnbuckle Talk, we're here to shine. Flagship of the airways, leading the pack. Breaking news, reviews, we've got your back. From the squared circle to the backstage news, we bring stories that you can't refuse. Turnbuckle Talk, the voice of the fight. Every slam, every suplex, every highlight. Tune in weekly, don't miss a beat. For the latest in wrestling, we bring the heat. From AEW to WWE, we cover it all from A to Z. Interviews, insights, and match reviews. If it's wrestling news, we've got the clues. From the squared circle to the backstage news, we bring stories that you can't refuse. Turnbuckle Talk, the voice of the fight. Every slam, every suplex, every highlight. Tune in weekly, don't miss a beat. For the latest in wrestling, we bring the heat.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is 8:05 p.m. Eastern. It is Tuesday night, and it is time for some Turnbuckle Talk, bringing you the weekly news that matters to us here at the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. This week's episode, WWE x ESPN, Turnbuckle Talk, episode 436. My name is Chris Best. We've got a lot of stories tonight. A lot of interesting stories, so let's just hop right into it here. And of course, our first story comes to us straight out of Hollywood, basically. Our opening story has one actor, Danny McBride, is going to be getting himself involved in pro wrestling. This is per Sean Reuter of Cage Side Seats. The Pineapple Express and Righteous Gemstones star is partnering with MLW via his Lucha Libre themed Tequila. Yeah, so let's take a look at this here. That was more of an opinion article. So let's give me just 1 second here. My phone is being a little bit weird here as I'm trying to scroll to the article itself. Yeah, this is what happens when there we go. Here's the article right here. We're going to go over to WDEF.com. Danny McBride will help shape a major and MLW event on November 20th in Charleston, South Carolina. The show, titled MLW X Don Gato Lucha de los Muertos, will air live on BN Sports and MLW's YouTube channel. Tickets for the event, if you want to go there live, will be starting at $15 and will go on sale August 19th. McBride will promote his Don Gato Tequila brand, but will not wrestle himself. In a statement, he said he had to use charm and constant nagging to convince the reluctant Don Gato to participate after injuries from spearfishing in Cambodia. Meanwhile, actor Paul Walter Hauser, known for his roles in The Naked Gun, The Fantastic Four First Steps, will serve as an executive producer and will actually compete in the event. MLW owner Court Bauer called the partnership with Don Gato Tequila the ultimate super team-up, and that's per Variety. This is something that's really intriguing to me because I've watched Danny McBride do a lot of things. One of my favorite TV shows actually was a show of his called Eastbound and Down, where he plays a disgraced professional baseball player who goes to Mexico to try and revitalize his career. And we got Chris Parrish coming in saying, hello, how's it going, Parrish? Glad to have you here. Talking a little bit of Danny McBride and his partnership with the MLW and an event that they've got going on November 20th. And I'm very excited about this. But as I was saying, I've watched Danny McBride quite a few times. Obviously watched him on Pineapple Express. And I've actually watched some of the horror movies he's also written. So this is an intriguing partnership here. It's done to promote his Tequila. Um, I do think that this there is some sort of excitement here, but I'm curious about the Paul Walter Hauser one. That's the one he's going to be wrestling at the show. I'm a little bit intrigued on that part, so I'm going to have to dig a little deeper for that one. Um, but this is an interesting thing here. I'm glad that this is the MLW reaching out to those Hollywood stars to uh, get involved in these situations, and this is Danny McBride, trying to get his product out there as well. And I'm very intrigued. I'm interested to see where they go with this, and if it is going to be a rousing success. Does MLW continue to do these kinds of things with these types of celebrities who are making their own products? And it seems like to be these days, making alcoholic drinks seems to be the thing these days. But I'm very intrigued. November 20th, it's going to be live on beIN Sports and MLW's YouTube channel. I'm going to more than likely check this event out. Another event I'm going to be checking out will be taking place this Saturday with AAA and Triplemania, as we have received word on who the English broadcast team will be, and this is a very interesting pairing for me, as AAA is gearing up for Triplemania, the first Triplemania since being taken over by the WWE, and the commentary panel will include Corey Graves and a WWE Hall of Famer. Graves announced on this week's WWE Raw that WWE legend and former commentator JBL will be alongside them, doing at the English commentary desk on August 16th. Graves was also on the commentary desk at Worlds Collide in June, where he announced alongside Conan. PW Insider has also reported that longtime WWE Spanish commentator Marcelo Rodriguez will be a part of the Spanish broadcast. Rodriguez, like Graves, was also on the Worlds Collide announcing desk, teaming with Jose Manuel Guillen. JBL, who has rubbed Mexican audiences the wrong way on numerous occasions, has made prior appearances in AAA when he made random appearances at various wrestling promotions last year and again earlier this year. JBL was a commentator at one time on the main roster for several years following his retirement, but left in 2017. He made some guest commentary appearance at the start of the year on WWE Raw for the match between Kofi Kingston and Rey Mysterio. JBL had some praise for his commentator earlier this year after Graves vented his frustration about not being included in the main roster commentary panel and being replaced by Pat McAfee. The WWE Hall of Famer has praised both Graves and McAfee and stated that there was space for both stars on the commentary desk. 5 matches so far have also been announced for Triplemania, with a few matches featuring WWE main roster stars. 3 WWE stars will feature in the AAA Mega Championship, where champion El Hijo del Vikingo will defend his title against Dragon Lee, El Grande Americano, and the WWE Intercontinental Champion Dominic Mysterio. I'm very interested in seeing how JBL does with this announcing. I do remember watching him as an announcer on the WWE main roster, and there were times where I did enjoy him. I'm wondering if he can bring some of that lucha libre knowledge, given that the time that he's spent already in Mexico, like they had said, over the last year. So I'm intrigued to see just how that works out. Him and Corey Graves, that's going to be a very interesting combination. I got to wonder again, though, because JBL has been kind of, I guess you could say, a heel in AAA, and he's been coming in and just interrupting in whichever matches he wants to interrupt in. And I'm very interested to see just how the dynamic between Corey Graves and JBL plays out between these two gentlemen. Yeah, I'm curious to see, will JBL play the heel? Will Corey Graves play the heel? Will JBL be the babyface, or will Corey Graves be the babyface? Will they both be heel announcers? Will they both be babyface announcers? I'm very excited to hear just how those two are going to work together. And as it's stated, JBL has sung the praises of Corey Graves and his commentary, as has he sung the praises for Pat McAfee. It's gonna be an intriguing duo. I thought we were gonna get Michael Cole and Corey Graves, but I think I'm gonna be okay with listening to JBL for a few hours when he does the show on Saturday. It's going to be very interesting time, and I'm hoping that there's going to be more matches. There's, as it said, 5 matches have been announced for the show. I'm expecting at least 2 more matches to be announced for it, but we'll have to do a wait and see on that one here. But I'd like to know your guys' thoughts on that, on JBL. Will he do a good job? Will he not? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. We're going to move from Mexico all the way to India, where the Great Khali has been named talent commissioner of an ambitious new wrestling company. The Great Khali paved the way for Indian wrestlers to dream big by making a significant impact in the WWE in the mid-aughts. His first major program in the world in WWE was, of course, with The Undertaker. Khali then went on to feud against the likes of John Cena, Batista, Kane, Triple H, among others, during his 8-year tenure with the WWE. He even held the World Heavyweight Championship once. I believe he defeated Batista for that title, if I'm not mistaken. After his exit from the sports entertainment capital in 2014, Khali was not featured frequently in any topic of conversation pertaining to pro wrestling. In the end, though, he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2021. Best Media Info has reported that India's Global League Wrestling, GLW, has brought in the Great Khali as the company's talent commissioner. Meanwhile, Prasar Bharati has entered into a strategic partnership with AEX Sport, the sports innovation arm of UK-based Adi Group, to bring GLW to Indian audiences. GLW is believed to be the first league of its kind in India and the Asia Pacific region. On September 17th, GLW will officially be unveiled. The broadcast launch is slated for October 4th. And this is a quote from Navneet Kumar, who is the chairman of GLW. This marks a new era for Indian pro wrestling. The idea is to catapult the Indian sports to the global standards, building on our existing partnerships with Hockey India, the Handball Association of India, PGTI, and others. This partnership reinforces our commitment to promote a variety of sports and will give India's next generation of youth and athletes a national platform. Prasar Bharsati's CEO, Gaurav Dwivedi, if I'm butchering these names, I apologize, further noted that this partnership underscores Prasar Bharati's continued commitment to delivering engaging, culturally resonant, and high-quality content to Indian audiences. GLW introduces a new genre of youth-led programming that combines traditional Indian storytelling with international sports entertainment standards. As for the Great Khali, he will support the GLW roster in some form or fashion, with the creative direction being part of his job. He doesn't appear too likely to play any part in the WWE anytime soon. And you know what? I'm actually glad that there's this new promotion coming out in the Indian market. We've seen what WWE is like when they go to India, and it is just They are treated like they are gods over there. And to have this there for the Indian fans, I'm all for this. I'm very excited about this for the the Indian people. Great Khali, I will reserve my opinions on him as a wrestler, but maybe as a talent scout or whichever what this role actually is for him could very well be something that something that he excels at, and I hope he does excel at this job. Um, but yeah, this is another interesting thing. I am very happy that we are getting a new promotion for the Indian audience. I'm wondering if there's a way that we can view it on a worldwide scale, and that's where I'm going to pay attention to this October 4th broadcast launch. I'm going to look into the kinds of TV deals that they may have. I'm going to maybe check and see if they've got a YouTube channel where we can maybe watch some of their matches and be able to learn about the wrestlers from India. It's I love where wrestling is going these days, especially with these kinds of promotions just sparking up everywhere. It just makes me so happy to be a wrestling fan, to see these opportunities being opened for people all around the world to become pro wrestlers or to find other ways to succeed within the pro wrestling business. That just makes my heart very happy there. So another piece of news here is that Ringside News is reporting that WWE may be planning another PLE to go head to head with one AEW. WWE is looking to shake up the wrestling calendar with plans for a brand new premium live event. And this one could cause some serious competition. According to Post Wrestling, WWE is set to hold the show on September 20th in Indianapolis, Indiana, directly clashing with AEW's All Out at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. WWE is planning to hold an event in Indianapolis, Indiana on September 20th, which is the same day as AEW will be heading to the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto for All Out. While WWE hasn't revealed what time their show will kick off, the date marks the first time a WWE main roster, that's the key thing here, the main roster, it's going to be a main roster event, will directly go up against an AEW pay-per-view. In the past, WWE has scheduled NXT premium live events on the same day as AEW specials, including Double or Nothing, All in Texas, and Forbidden Door earlier this year. Previously, WWE have held NXT premium live events on the same day as AEW's. Oh, I already read that. At this point, there's still no official name for the PLE. However, WWE has recently filed a trademark for a former WCW pay-per-view name, which could give a hint at what's to come. If WWE moves forward with this plan, September 20th could become one of the most competitive days in recent wrestling history, and fans on both sides will have plenty to watch. This is going to be interesting again, because this is just like the Money in the Bank, Worlds Collide, kind of both competing with AEW's All In at Texas. This is going to be interesting because well, here's the thing. The WWE doesn't really do pay-per-views anymore, so they can do live events on the same day as AEW because they're on Netflix. So that makes it, I guess that makes it why it was a PLE. Because back, if anybody remembers, back in the late 80s, Vince McMahon and WCW tried so hard to compete with each other, whether it was putting a free event up against a WrestleMania, i.e. WCW did that with, or the NWA, Crockett Promotions did that with WrestleMania 4. They put on the very first Clash of the Champions, which was headlined, I believe, by Ric Flair and Sting for the World Heavyweight title, up against WrestleMania 4, which featured the 14-man tournament, which Macho Man would win the title for. And it got to a point, though, where Vince McMahon was calling companies, and he was threatening these cable companies to put his show on Survivor Series 87. It was Survivor Series 87 specifically. He was demanding that they put that on, as opposed to they were competing with another WCW event that night, and I can't remember which one it was. It might be Starrcade. But Vince had called and demanded that they put his pay-per-view on, or else they weren't going to get WrestleMania 4. And this got to a point where the cable companies told both WCW and the WWF at the time that they need to schedule their pay-per-views on different days, otherwise no pay-per-views, basically. That's what they were so that's what led to like seeing like 1 week we would see an In Your House from the WWE, and then the following week would be like Road Wild or Bash at the Beach or whatever from WCW. We always, growing up in the 90s, it always seemed like there was one WWF pay-per-view and then the next week was WCW's pay-per-view. So that's I guess that's how they competed as far as pay-per-views go up until WCW's closure in 2001. And I'm going to say the same thing. More than likely was the same thing for TNA. But now that we're in a world where you can just stream on Netflix, and you can choose to watch the WWE pay-per-view or choose to watch the AEW pay-per-view. Now you can choose to skip over, say you want to miss the WWE pay-per-view to watch AEW. You can do that, and you can catch it at a later time. You can easily watch it whenever you want, because as soon as it's done on Netflix, it's available to watch all the time. I assume that's going to be the same thing for AEW, because I think they're on HBO Max. I'm really not certain what they're on in the States, but I mean, this is still going to be interesting because they are still going to be competing, and it all depends on the fans who choose to watch what they want to watch live. Simple as that. I have no access of watching AEW as much as, I mean, I could take the 8-hour trip down south to Toronto to watch it, but that's the other thing I would need money to get down there. But regardless, it's still an interesting time to be a wrestling fan, because now we've got these events that are being shared on the same day, and it's more wrestling fans can choose which one they want to watch. And I think that's what the way it should be. It should have been all this time anyways, instead of companies calling up and threatening cable companies to put their show on, otherwise they're not going to get their other shows, or it seemed kind of petty to me at the time, but it is what it is. And this is going to be September 20th is going to be a very interesting day, and hopefully in the coming weeks WWE will be able to reveal to us what event that is. I'm going to pull up my calendar on my phone real quick here. September 20th is next month, of course. That's a Saturday night. I'm trying to remember. It's not that far off from Crown Jewel, so I'm looking at that as a Saturday night. That could be the next Saturday night's main event. That's what I'm thinking it could very well be, but we'll wait. We'll wait and see what the announcement could be for that. I gotta put my calendar back the way it was. Now let's go on and talk some injury news. Samoa Joe has been confirmed to be injured as during AEW's All In Texas pay-per-view, there was an injury angle that involved Samoa Joe to write him off TV so he could film season 2 of the Peacock series Twisted Metal. But while speaking to PWInsider.com, Joe revealed that he was actually injured while working on the show. His statement is as follows: "Normally, I would say the ring is always a much more precarious place to be in, but halfway through the season, I fractured my ankle. Nothing crazy. We had done a series of pretty crazy driving stunts and dangerous things here and there. Then it was just parking, and I had to hop out." Hop out the back on some really rocky, busted up asphalt. I turned my ankle and spent the rest of the season taping it up and limping through it. Twisted Metal is incredibly physical. Fighting scenes, driving scenes. Anytime that a car is driving, you see me in it. It's a demanding role, but spending enough time in the ring as I have, it's no new territory. Joe commented on whether he will be able to on when he will be able to return to AEW television, and he's saying definitely sooner than later. We're clearing our various medical protocols, and as soon as we're done with that, we'll be back to business. Samoa Joe talks Twisted. This was by Mike Johnson of PWI. That's kind of crazy that they did that injury angle to take him off TV, and then he actually gets hurt. I do wish all the best for Joe. I absolutely love Samoa Joe. If I did have the time to watch AEW, he is one of my reasons that I would watch AEW. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for this next season of Twisted Metal. I've actually got to get caught up on the previous season. Never had really the time to finish it. But I got to say, Joe, you are a trooper for doing what you've done there with your fracturing your ankle and on the set, because I've seen how physical and how demanding those shoots were. I've seen the behind the scenes on that stuff, and all it was he had the vehicle parked and he jumped out the back and landed on some rocky bust up asphalt and turned his ankle. But a speedy recovery to you, Joe. I just find it very interesting that he got written off with an injury angle so he could do this, and then he actually gets hurt here. But yeah, all the best to you, Joe. All they're doing is right now they're clearing out various medical protocols, and as soon as they're done with that, he's going to be back in the ring a little sooner than you think. So maybe the injury to the ankle isn't as serious as he thought. If he was able to work through it with filming the rest of the series, by all means, I wish nothing but the best for you, Joe. And yeah, so let's take a quick little breather here, guys. Showcase everything that we've got with the Turnbuckle affiliation program. But first, as old Uncle Sam would say, we want you.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today, because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we go TNA when we brace for Impact at 7:55 p.m. Eastern. Friday we secure all details as we answer the call for the SmackDown security detail at 8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
On his feet. Oh, my God in heaven.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is the showstopper segment, and of course, we are talking WWE and ESPN. As we know, on Wednesday morning, it was announced that WWE and ESPN Plus have partnered up starting in 2026, where all WWE PLEs will be available on the ESPN streaming service. There's a little bit more to the story now. First off, starting off with, give me just 1 second here. I got to accept some things. Starting off with Peacock, they and how they made an offer to attempt to keep the WWE on their streaming platform, but it wasn't enough compared to what ESPN had to offer. Back in 2021, shortly before the year's Fastlane event, WWE had reached a deal with NBC Universal streaming service Peacock to air all WWE's premium live events. This was exclusive to the United States, as other countries would keep the WWE network altogether. But the WWE network came to an end when Netflix became the home for all WWE content for outside the United States. Things are changing once more, though, now that WWE struck a deal with ESPN that will see WWE air PLEs in their streaming service for 5 years, starting in 2026. Reports claim, though, that ESPN will be paying around $325 million per year for the content. Dave, Figure 4 Wrestling reports that Peacock had the contractual right to match the deal between WWE and ESPN. They go on to say Peacock did make an offer, and I guess the offer was allegedly in the neighborhood of around $275 million per year. WWE wanted more. Obviously, they ended up getting the $325 million, which is why they went to ESPN over Peacock. Obviously, if Peacock offered $400 million, then there wouldn't have been a move, but Peacock backed out at that point. There were also claims that WWE thought about giving WrestleMania exclusively to ESPN, but sticking with Peacock for a certain amount of other PLEs every year. But they ended up just going straight up to ESPN overall. There are more details on this here. The current president and chief operating officer of TKO Group, Mark Shapiro, was formerly a top executive of ESPN. He had some things to say about the deal. And he goes on to say, in many ways, this is our destiny. If you want to expand the audience or fan base, the fervor around WWE and grow on a real significant national scale, you can't do that as it relates to the sports world without partnering with ESPN. ESPN's new service is set to debut on August 21st. It will see consumers paying $29.99 for a month for access to WWE's events. People have pointed out issues with this as to access all of WWE's content. Fans will only need to have a Netflix account for Monday Night Raw, Peacock, or the USA Network for Friday Night SmackDown, the CWE network or the CW network for NXT, and ESPN's new service for the PLEs. We'll get into that just a little bit more here, as there is another article relating to that, as ESPN has also mentioned they are interested in buying WWE's library rights. This comes just days after announcing the landmark rights for the WWE PLEs. Appearing on the Ringers Press podcast, Jimmy Pitaro, ESPN chairman, was asked if ESPN would be interested in bidding on the WWE library when the rights become available. He confirmed that the company does have interest in the content. He said, "Yeah, we're always interested in content of that quality," Pitaro responded. "I will tell you that we will have an archival rights for the events that we are airing, but yes, in terms of their library, we certainly would be interested in if and when those rights are available." The conversation comes after the announcement of last week, of course, where WWE's main roster PLEs will include WrestleMania, SummerSlam, um, all of their shows. One of the things he does go on to say, one of the things we are focused on from a direct to consumer perspective is churn and minimizing churn. Pitaro said. He also noted that he expects WWE to be flexible with the scheduling here. I got smothered by an add-on here as I'm trying to read this article. Where did I leave off now? Pitaro called the addition of events like WrestleMania incredibly exciting, stating that the entertainment has always been part of the ESPN brand. The future of U.S. home of the WWE library remains the final major piece of the company's media rights puzzle. The content includes thousands of hours of historical footage, which is currently streamed on Peacock, but that deal does end in March 2026. There is a full interview with Jimmy Pitaro. If you look up the Ringers Press Box podcast, where they talk about this. Now, here's where I'm thinking, where I'm looking at this kind of a situation here. A lot of people I've spoken to, a lot of Americans I've spoken to, are complaining about the $30 hike, and they're not looking at it as a whole, where you don't just get WWE, but you also get a lot of ESPN. And I know that there's a lot of wrestling fans out there that don't necessarily care for other sports. But the majority of wrestling fans are still, fans of other sports, be it football or anything of that nature. And that's where the $29.99 comes into play. But if you are just the wrestling fan, there are a lot of Americans I've spoken to that are like, that they're saying that they're getting VPNs and are looking to use their Netflix subscription to, look at to watch Raw in Canada or SmackDown or all the stuff we have on Netflix too, through our streaming services. But here's the thing: I've done the breakdown. I've looked at the general costs for a VPN in the US, and the average cost I've found is $10 for your VPN. And then you look at what Netflix costs. Netflix costs from a range of $7.99 all the way up to $24.99. So that's $17 to $34, give or take. Most people I know are paying for that $24.99 Netflix. Already, in that sense, you are paying more for that service than you are paying to have ESPN. And I get that adding ESPN onto all the streaming services could bring your billing up to $60. But let's just say that you want that just for the WWE. You can get rid of Netflix, maybe. I know actually Netflix does show Raw. So now I'm now at a crossroads. I was thinking about this, talking about this earlier with somebody. And let me just and here's the other thing. There's a lot of problems with running a VPN too. VPNs don't work all the time. Even if you pay that $10 or whatever it is that you're paying, they don't work all the time. There's a lot of problems with connecting to other servers from around the world. And I had a free VPN and I had tons of issues with it. Obviously, because it's free, I wasn't paying anything for it. But it is known to be a hassle just to run a VPN, because running a VPN, you might be blocked from doing other things. Take, for instance, in talking with this person that I spoke to about it, they said that they had issues with just doing simple things like running Google. And Netflix has been ahead of the curve as far as trying to chase down these people who have VPNs. I'm not discouraging you guys from doing VPNs. Do what you want to do with getting these, with trying to find a way to watch and enjoy the WWE product. But But yeah, it Netflix has caught this person I spoke to uh about their VPN, said that they couldn't watch anything unless they turned the VPN off, and which they had no choice but to. Yeah, but as I said, I looked at the average cost for a VPN on top of paying for Netflix, and I've mentioned how WWE did sign the deal with ESPN at a cost of $30 a month, and it's just that cost of the VPN plus the Netflix service. It just ends up being more than what you're paying for it right now. I said this actually years ago about streaming services too. I said that streaming services were going to be getting just as bad in a cost sense for they're going to be getting just as bad as what we were paying for cable at the time. And here we are, 2025, and I've kind of been correct on that one, but we also now have that opportunity to pick and choose which cables or which streaming services we'd like to use. But yeah, all I'm saying is just be careful out there with what you're doing, with what you're choosing as far as your VPN services. Be cognizant of the cost, because a lot of those costs too, as I was looking at them, were showing like $10 a month, but some of those were introductory rates for 2 years. And I get that in 2 years you can switch your VPN service. A lot of people aren't going to do that though. So now you're looking at, after those 2 years, you're now looking at maybe your VPN service going up to like $20, even $30 now. So now that's where your cost of your Netflix, even in that 2 years, I guarantee you Netflix will probably go up one more time. And in that case, you're paying almost $60 just to watch WWE. And that's, you might want to reconsider the VPN service if you plan to keep wanting to watch WWE product. Because now that I know that ESPN is now interested in getting the library, the full WWE library, that $30 to me does not seem to be too much. But I guess at the same time, if you're paying that $24.99 for the Netflix, that's where it's going to get you. Because now again, we're looking at that close to $60 even before the rise of the VPNs, that if you don't cancel out or move to a different VPN service. But that's just my thoughts on what's going on with this whole thing, and how Americans are going to be using their VPN services to watch WWE products in other countries, which is a little bit weird, because up here in Canada, we get VPN services for the most part so that we can watch stuff in the US that aren't available to us, and vice versa. And WWE is still available in the US, it's going to be on ESPN. So it's just intriguing to me. We'll have to wait and see how this goes. We'll have to wait and see like how many people actually did decide to get a VPN to move on over to the WWE. But I think right now I've touched on everything that I can with this situation. I'd like one more time, guys, to play out our commercials here. So take a look here.
A Turnbuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today, because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we go TNA when we brace for Impact at 7:55 p.m. Eastern. Friday we secure all details as we answer the call for the SmackDown security detail at 8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
Be a part of those shows, guys. All you've got to do is go to turnbucklestudios.org. You'll be able to find the links to all of our latest episodes. You'll also be able to do a meet the team, whether it's myself, Chris Parrish, Bubba Duke, OMD, or Carl Carafel. You'll be able to reach out to either one of us about gathering information for joining the team. Again, that's turnbucklestudios.org. And while you're online here, I know that a lot of you guys like to do a little bit of online shopping. So all you got to do is head on over to carlcarafel.redbubble.com. From there, you guys will be able to purchase anything affiliated with the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, whether it's t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies, all kinds of things like that, even just stuff for around your house like pillowcases and whatnot. carlcarafel.redbubble.com is the place to be. And you know what, since he's not here, let's throw a little bit of love to him here. And if you want to give Carl a little bit of a follow him at his link tree, lanktr.ee/Carl Carafel. That's KARLKARUFEL. While you're at it too, give a little follow to my buddy OMD. His link tree is lanktr.ee/OMD show. And while you're surfing around the link tree, you might as well give me a follow as well. Linktree, lanktr.ee/Chris_best83. Ladies and gentlemen, in the immortal words of one Carl Carafel, the world's a scary place. Take care of each other.
Flagship show setting the tone. In the world of wrestling we stand alone. With news and reviews we lead the way. Turnbuckle Talk every day. Turnbuckle Talk every day.